That was it. I know. You know what I do know is that I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I know in life right now. That all the stuff that I thought I used to know,
Mm-hmm.
I figured out that I actually don't know.
No.
Pretty much, I don't know shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is episode 74 of Weighing In with Travis Hartman. It's been another minute. I think every episode I say that because we keep having these gaps, these lags in our episodic content.
Episodic.
Of this podcast. Thank you for joining us. For our subscribers, I appreciate your patience. As you can see, we're in a different facility now. The TH Boxing Gym has expanded now, not just the main floor of the gym, of the boxing activities, but we're now on the second floor. There's some renovation work going on up here, and we're carving out our little area for podcasting purposes. So pardon any echo, pardon any dust, pardon the plain black and the plain black. Did I talk enough on that?
I think you talked beautifully.
Okay, how does my voice sound? Because it's been a little while.
They once called you the songbird of our generation.
They once did, but now they just call me this old decrepit fool. But this is episode 74. We thank you to our media partners, TH Boxing, Gulfstream Financial, and IF Enterprises, as always, for your media support. And we can travel over there. We are drinking a little bit of, well, what do we got there?
We got Woodson Bourbon Whiskey. And you know who this is. This is Mr. Charles Woodson, who is a former Green Bay Packer and also Oakland Raider, but also lives in Lake Nona.
That's true.
He is in the country club here in Lake Nona, Florida, where it's a little heaven.
You know, and I think if we really tried, Weekend Trev, if we really tried, and we can get the man himself somehow connected to our show, all we have to do is tell him, listen, Mr. Woodson, we love you. We loved you on the Packers. You were obviously a Raider on and off as well, but you won a Super Bowl with the Packers.
I liked you more on the Raiders because B Money likes the Packers, but go ahead.
But we love you as the producer of this Woodson bourbon. And by the way, we'd like you to be a part of this podcast because we are the #1 beards, bourbon, and boxing podcast shot in Orlando, Florida. Specifically, Laureate Park, which is in Lake Nona. Specifically in a boxing gym, now on the second floor of a boxing gym. Shot on a Sunday or Monday. Today is Monday.
In the world.
In the world. That demographic, folks.
#1 in the world. Like, Charles, you know what it's like to be #1 in the world. I mean, we're #1 in the world, so we just think that it would be possible and it would make sense if you just joined us.
I think it makes
Let's talk about your bourbon.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Actually, we would love to do that. We have some connections that might be able to start to pull the strings on that. But you know what? We need to get our podcast room in here really Mac Daddy before we do that.
We've been under construction the last month, guys, but we're almost there. As you can tell, we're in a new building, new room, not building, new room of the building. But it's about to be Weighing In with Travis Hartman's permanent podcast studio.
That's right. As the great-grandmother down the street said to her husband, the great-grandfather, as he took care of some business down there, pardon my dust. Pardon our dust here, folks, but we're here. But the reason why most of you
keep my wife's name out your mouth, all right?
Oh.
All right?
Yeah.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
With a couple expletives. What a clown show this whole world has become, and that is part of it. But ladies and gentlemen, you are here mainly because probably boxing, because we talk boxing when we do these episodes, which usually is weekly. We're getting back to it, folks. Weekly. Now, this is a jam-packed month, Weekend Trav.
It's actually a very exciting month for boxing, and people don't realize it, but I'm going to let them know.
And frankly, this weekend's jam-packed. So depending on when YouTube tells you that you can watch this video, because it's really up to the metrics and the analytics and the algorithm there, it's going to be out here. But April 9th starts it all off, folks. I know we've had some fights already in April, but it really kicks off this weekend, Trav. What are you looking forward to coming this weekend? You
know what? There's some really good boxing matches this weekend. I have to lead with... No, you know what? I'm not going to. The one I'm looking forward to the most is Erickson Lubin versus Sebastian Fundora. That fight is actually on Showtime. Showtime, it doesn't really have a ton of big time fights, but this is a really big time fight. This is Erickson Lubin, who's actually originally used to train in Orlando, Florida, trains now, I think, in West Palm Beach, but he still has Orlando, Florida connections with Soak School of Hard Knocks. They still are in his corner. I forget their names. The guys who own that, but they're still in his corner. They still help him out with a lot of stuff. Right. So School of Hard Knocks is representing with Erickson Lubin, but this fight's a good fight because Sebastian Fundora is undefeated. The guy's like 6'3", 6'4", 154 pounds. Erickson Lubin is still back on track from his one lone defeat, which was a knockout to the Charlo brother. A really bad knockout, but he's done nothing but win since that knockout, which is like 3-4 years ago now. So he's on a massive win streak. Mm-hmm. But this right now in front of him is going to be a massive fight, and it's going to be a massive hurdle that he needs to get over to challenge for a world title, and that's what he ultimately wants to do. So I'm looking forward to that fight. It's on Showtime.
Well, tell us a little bit about, so they're fighting in L.A. I don't know which stadium out there, but tell us a little bit about his competitor, Sebastian Fundora.
This guy is tall, lanky, and rangy. He throws a lot of punches. He almost, I don't want to take away from this guy. I'll tell you his name. I got to find him. Gosh dang, it just slipped my mind. Oh my gosh. He used to fight.
See, folks, and this is why
you get it from me. I'm going to find this.
This is why I have notes, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to find this.
This is why I put these notes together.
I have this name that just slipped my mind.
We're going to come back to it. We're going to talk about that fight in a second, but I want to run through a couple of other things going on that weekend on April 9th. Actually, that day, April 9th. We have on DAZN. We've talked about this in a prior episode. Ryan Garcia taking on Emmanuel Tagoe. Tagoe? Who?
Tagoe.
Tagoe. So, gosh, this guy, and I'm talking Ryan Garcia, I'm kind of over it. Frankly, I just really hope the guy loses so we could stop talking about him so much, because when he wins, he's going to proclaim himself as the second coming, really. So let's move on. We've given that enough airtime in prior episodes.
The good thing about it is that we can stop our counter of how many days it's been since he's last fought.
I can't count too high, Weekend Trav. I have a calculator and computer that does that for me. So that's on DAZN. As also on DAZN at a different time slot, because this one's coming from Japan. We have Triple G taking on Ryoto Murata for the IBF middleweight title. That's going to be on DAZN as well.
Triple G back in the ring.
Yeah.
It's going to be showing at a different time here, though, right? I forget what the time is.
It's obviously based on the time zone. So the Triple G fight's in Japan. The Ryan Garcia one, of course, is in Texas, because I don't know if he can fight anywhere other than in Texas. But this Tagoe, he's coming overseas to take this guy down. So we'll see what ends up happening. That weight division is still primed for some interesting fights coming down the road, but who knows? So back to the Erickson Lubin and Sebastian Fundora fight.
I found the guy that I was looking for.
Perfect. It's in LA on Showtime, April 9th. Who are we trying to compare Sebastian Fundora to?
So the hardcore boxing people are probably going to hate me for the comparison, but it's not completely like Sebastian Fundora. But there's a guy named Paul Williams. He was 41-2. He got in a really bad motorcycle accident, and he's paralyzed from the waist down, so he doesn't fight again. But he was at the top of his career when this happened. 6'1", 147 pounds, 154. Mm-hmm. But he had long arms, tall, big reach, but threw a lot of punches, and his reach was just so long. That just reminds me of Sebastian Fundora. Reminds me a little bit of him, the way he's built and the way he throws the punches. He's a lefty.
Sure.
And I know that Paul Williams is a world champion, former world champion. Paul Williams was really, really legit. So I don't want to tarnish the name for Paul Williams yet by saying that, oh my gosh, Sebastian Fundora is the next Paul Williams. I'm not saying that. His style kind of reminds me of him, the way his body is built as well, and he throws a lot of punches. He doesn't really use his reach and stay outside and box. He kind of throws a lot of punches and stays inside. So it kind of reminded me of Paul Williams. So that was the name that I kind of got caught up on and kind of forgot. I knew it was Paul. I couldn't remember the last name though. So I think Sebastian Fundora reminds me a little bit, his body type and a little bit of his style, like the Paul Williams. So I think he's going to give Erickson Lubin a lot of trouble because of that reach and that style. It's kind of an overwhelming, lots of punches, in your face, rangy, tall, lanky, awkward. But it's going to be a tough fight.
But is the power there in order to end this fight against Lubin?
So it's tough to say because Fundora has not really fought, a guy at the level that Erickson Lubin's at.
Right.
But Fundora's got a lot of knockouts. I mean, he is 18-0 right now. He's 18-0 with 12 knockouts. That's a really good knockout ratio. Mm-hmm. He's only not knocked out 6 people. So that's a good knockout ratio. You would think that he's got a lot of power. I don't think he's got that one-punch devastating power, but if he clips the guy, he clips the guy. He knows how to punch. He knows how to fight. I don't see him knocking out Lubin. Okay, Lubin, his chin has been tested and it failed against Charlo.
Yep.
It did.
We
He
talked
knocked
about
him
that.
out cold. And I also fought on the same card as Erickson Lubin in Texas. I fought a guy named Cordell Booker. And Erickson Lubin fought a guy who was just supposed to dominate. And this was a fight that was off TV. So that's why I'm talking about it, because nobody else saw it. And Erickson Lubin got rocked hard. Almost went down, was on the scramble for a little bit, and I was there live for it. It was an off-TV fight. Not a lot of people were in the stadium even, but it was his comeback trail after the Charlo. He didn't look great to me, but the only positive thing was he recovered and ended up stopping the guy. So that was positive, and he got out of there. But he got rocked by a guy that I would say Sebastian Fundora's got more power than the guy he got rocked by. So it's possible if his defense is lacking and Fundora slips something in there, then yeah, I think that 100% Fundora could do some damage. But I don't think Erickson Lubin's worried about Fundora's power.
Yeah, I've always been told that if you can slip one in there, you can do a lot of damage. So you got to be careful about that. So that's a big matchup coming in this weekend. Nothing? You had nothing for that comment? You had nothing?
Oh, sorry. I was distracted.
My goodness. What am I working with here?
I'm trying to be cool over here.
Are we that much out of practice? We are.
Well, I was reading something. I'm
teeing these things up.
I know.
Oh, goodness gracious.
You did good.
April 9th. One matchup weekend, Trav, that we're not talking about, and maybe we should, because it gets hits. I think it gets the key words.
I know what you're going to say.
Am I? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Mighty Jennifer Hahn.
Versus
taking on Mikaela Mayer.
You missed the headliner.
Taking on Mikaela Mayer. Okay, that's on ESPN Plus, I think, this weekend as well. Weekend Trav. You know what would get me to watch this fight? You know what would really generate the excitement in me and my loins to watch this fight?
Is your wife watching this?
No, she.
Okay.
Does yours watch these? No,
not usually.
Come on.
I don't know what.
Okay.
If
now,
they
hear
mud
me
wrestled,
out. Hear me out, boxing community.
If they mud wrestled?
No, hear me out, boxing community. I think this needs to happen because this is the direction our world's going. Weekend Trav. I'm thinking this because they're probably close to the same weight class. I would think at this point.
Who?
Mikaela Mayer one day taking on Leah Thomas.
Oh my god. I don't think they're even close to the same weight.
Are you sure?
I think Leah Thomas looks big. Mikaela Mayer's like 130.
I
think Leah Thomas is probably like
that person, because I'm not a biologist, so I don't know if I can call that the man or woman. So that person.
I mean, that's probably the most fairly political.
Has broad shoulders, so it's hard to tell the weight class.
Very slender though.
Congratulations on your 500 meter NCAA championship to the person swimmer Leah Thomas. But I think one day, if we really are going that direction, weekend Trav, bring it on, Mikaela Mayer.
I would literally pay to see Mikaela Mayer knock out Leah Thomas.
There you go. So
Mikaela Mayer, I would pay to see that.
I think we're on to something here, folks. I think we really are on. ESPN would be all about it because they're owned by Disney. So moving on. April, still teeing up. We have a lot of stuff going on in April.
This is just the first weekend in April, by the way.
Just the first weekend.
We got some more.
We're not going to talk in depth about all these because we have many other weeks in April and we need content. So we're talking, just kind of glancing over. April 16th, I have written down Showtime pay-per-view, Errol Spence taking on your Adonis.
Right.
Ugas.
Coming off of a Manny Pacquiao victory, and he also, you could easily say that he sent Manny Pacquiao into retirement.
Right. And first champ here. So this should be, I think, the unified welterweight titles.
Yep,
correct?
It's a unification bout.
Yeah, so that's coming to Arlington, Texas, April 16th. Let's kind of move on. I know there's some matches overseas as well. April 23rd, the big one, which is surprising, weekend Trav, because we're not hearing a lot about it. That's Tyson Fury taking on Dillian White.
You want to know why you're not hearing a lot about it? Because you don't need to. Because within 4 hours, they sold 80,000 tickets to that fight. And Dillian White didn't even show up to the press conference, and they sold 80,000 tickets
don't
in
need to.
like 4 hours. So they don't even need to promote that. It's being promoted by
That's the
itself.
King of England matchup that I wanted so bad with AJ with him.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously AJ stinks at boxing now that we've
I've already dropped this tidbit about this fight about Dillian Whyte. How Dillian Whyte is like the 23rd youngest father of all time. Did you know that?
Yes, I think you did.
He was like 12 or 13 years old and he fathered a child. Man. You can look this up. Dillian Whyte is like the 20-something youngest father of all time.
That's some.
Look it up. You're welcome. You're welcome.
That's some firepower back there, folks. So be careful, Tyson Fury. As we get closer to April 23rd, we'll dive deeper into that ESPN Plus pay-per-view. April 30th.
Wait, I gotta give a shout out really fast to that.
Good.
That information came to me from a guy who is now a client. Dave Schroeder is a very boxing historian from England, and he lives here in Laurier Park now. Thanks for that tidbit, because I did not know that, but that was cool information. I looked it up, and it was true. Also, Dillian Whyte, I think, was like shot as well. This guy's got a really cool story.
You said it's
David
Schroeder?
Dave Schroeder, yes.
Dave Schroeder,
yes.
Thank you for knowing Dillian Whyte's sexual prowess as a preteen. and
it was very interesting.
Knowing the results.
But thanks for passing that on to me. It was a very cool information. He's fighting Tyson Fury. Great fight. I think it's a great fight. Anyway, we can go ahead and move on.
Okay, and we are. And then finally, April 30th, the final weekend of this year, this month, I should say, we have in New York, we got Shakur Stevenson taking on Oscar Valdez. Also, and we have Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. They actually have the location wrong on this one, so that might be flip-flopped. Because we know for a fact they're fighting in Madison Square Garden, whereas this is Las Vegas, so that might be wrong. And Stevenson Valdez might be in Las Vegas, so my chart might be wrong. But I don't know that for sure. But Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, that's a big one on DAZN on April 30th.
It's a very big one.
And we're going to talk about that, guess what, folks, later on in the month. But there is, I think, another bout weekend, Trav, that you wanted to mention briefly as well on April 30th.
It's part of that fight, actually.
Okay.
But yes, by the way, Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez is in Las Vegas.
Okay, so
they are for sure. They're MGM Grand in Las Vegas.
Come on, CBS Boxing, get your stuff right.
But the cool part about it is that the Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano leads right into who I wanted to talk about. It's Jesse Vargas and Liam Smith. Mm-hmm. They're on that card. Mm-hmm. They're fighting on that card. So they're super welterweights. Jesse Vargas is a former world champion, fought Manny Pacquiao, has fought a lot of the greats. He's fought a lot of the greats, and including Weekend Trav. I fought Jesse Vargas in the pros at Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So, but the reason why I bring this up is because Mr. Jesse Vargas was also running for political office for his district, I believe, in Las Vegas. And he's also going to be on In This Corner with Weekend Trav. Jesse Vargas, you were the man. He's fighting Liam Smith, tough fight. Jesse Vargas is 29-3. Liam Smith is 30-3. And that is part of that spectacular card at Madison Square Garden in New York on DAZN. And Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano in a blockbuster fight.
That's right. See, it's not easy when someone's recording you for the socials while you're talking, huh?
It's beautiful.
You usually get me on.
I know. So that was not used to you pulling that out.
I was doing a preemptive video strike on you. Well. I was paying attention, so yes, very important. Looking forward to having him on In This Corner. And, so stay tuned to that, folks. We do other things on this rather than just this podcast episode on a weekly basis. Getting back to the weekly basis, we do these interviews when we get the opportunities to. We're going to start doing some also just kind of maybe some non-boxing stuff as well on the interview side of things.
Of course.
And also, obviously we do our shorts and
it's weighing in with Travis Harper. We can weigh in on whatever we want to.
Whatever we want. And every once in a while, you're going to get B-Money's take on stuff, too.
I look forward to B-Money's take.
Every once in a while. And also, we're on the socials. So if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, if you're on... Well, that's it, right?
No. Yeah, the socials, yeah.
And the YouTube channel, obviously. Weighing in with Travis Hartman. On the socials, that's all one word, weighing in with Travis Hartman. Go and find us. Spell weighing in properly. Weighing in with Travis Hartman.
And speaking of our YouTube channel...
Yeah.
I did this really, really great take about the Josh Taylor fight.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to let you guys know that are still listening. It still wasn't a robbery.
Oh, my gosh.
What is today's date? Today is it's Monday, April 4th. We don't know when this is going to post, but I just want to let you guys know. It is Monday, April 4th, and it's still not a robbery. Okay. I'll move on.
I tell you what,
I'll move on.
Go to our channel, look at that video, and look at all the hatred and vitriol.
150 comments.
Weekend Trav is fielding nothing but heat and vitriol.
And I've responded to every one of them.
He's responded. We respond until we start really getting up there in the views and the subscribes and the comments. We're going to keep responding every time we see something.
Yeah, you better catch us now before we get really big.
Yeah, it's about to just take off.
We got our own studio now. You guys better watch out.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It's like the good old days because I'm sweating my ass off in here.
I mean, there's air conditioner in the studio, but maybe we need to reach out to the owners of the studio and let them know
maybe the prior tenant
what's
jacked
going
something
on
up with the AC. I don't know. Maybe that's the case.
Everything's possible.
So Weekend Trav. Everything is possible. Everything is awesome. Hey, get the
new studio.
Get the Croc. Go get the Adidas Crocs.
Got it.
Okay, so we're being stupid. Let's talk about this bourbon, please, because we briefly mentioned it, but we're going to talk a little more specifically. Woodson Bourbon Whiskey. I like the label just because it's kind of this old school label. Let's see here. What can I say about this that hasn't been said already?
Bad. That's what.
What can I say about this that hasn't been said about Afghanistan? Bombed out and depleted.
Oh my goodness.
Just kidding. I actually like this bourbon. It's very good, Weekend Trav. And we've ranked everything we've drank on this show from 0 to 10 boxing gloves. Stop looking at whatever you're looking at.
Sorry.
Sorry, boss. So I'm going to go first because usually I say, hey, Weekend Trav, you go first, rank it. What I will say is this. I haven't had bourbon in a while. So that's making my score go up.
Oh, I like it.
I've been drinking more beer recently, and I don't know, because that's one of the bees.
That's probably why you have allergies.
That could be. I do. There's
you
a
need more
lot of
bourbon
pollen
in your
in
life.
Florida right now.
We haven't done the podcast. We've been just building
all this pollen.
studios.
It's killing me.
Florida.
Don't move here.
Sunshine State. Don't move here.
Unless you're a red. Don't move here.
Don't move
red
here.
Red vote.
Unless you're red.
Don't
move here.
So 0 to 10 boxing gloves Weekend Trav. I'm just sipping this out of a cup that my spouse got me. It's Chicago's, etched in map on this glass.
Ooh,
Pretty
super
cool.
nice.
Hold on a second. 0 to 10, right?
Yep.
7.1.
Okay.
7.1.
In the high hopes that we can attract the maker of this.
I kept my scoring integrity. And Charles Woodson will appreciate this.
Am keeping my integrity as well.
Okay.
I'm not going out of this world, but I do like it. And it's probably because I haven't had bourbon for a while too. But I'm going 7.5.
Okay.
I think it's a solid 7.5. And Woodson, before you judge us, if you're watching this, and I think that you will because we're going to post this and you're going to see it. We don't rank much stuff over 7 ever. So a 7.5 is very good.
It's a great score. Listen, if you gave everything that you kind of like a 9 or above or even an 8 and above, where's the integrity in that scoring metric, right?
I think nobody can question our integrity when it comes to judging the bourbon.
No, for me, if you're a 7 and above, this is a very good bourbon. If you're below that mark, then okay, you could talk about it. If you are, ass juice like it's not
Proper
a bourbon,
12.
but proper 12 whiskey, I mean that's in the ones.
This is a this is a bourbon whiskey. Woodson bourbon whiskey.
Yeah. So proper 12, it's unfortunate because we shouldn't be ranking that anyways. It's not a bourbon, but it was gross. And maybe we just had a bad bottle. Because frankly, it was worth what, like $1 billion or whatever to that guy.
He made like hundreds of millions off of that. So
insanity.
There's good for him. But you know what? I didn't want to rank it low. That's what I hope everybody realizes, that when we rank our bourbon, I rank it for what it is. Yeah. That stuff tasted like warm piss.
Yeah, I would rather have a warm Bud Light seltzer.
Literally.
I mean, that's pretty good anyways. On the beach.
All right.
Speaking of the attire, Weekend Trav attire.
Oh, yeah. This is new.
That's a new one. I like it.
I've got back to my ordering ways.
I like it. It's fresh out of the package. It has as many creases on it as our background.
It is. Our background is beautiful. Our background, look, but these are brick. It's brick. Can you not tell? Yeah. It's brick.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're really excited about what we can do in here. There's so much room for activities.
Oh, there's so much room for activities.
There's so much.
Oh, my gosh.
There's so much room.
Do you want to do karate in the garage?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember the next line from that movie, but yes.
Yes. I mean, that's good enough.
Let's go chop watermelons up. Weekend Trav. Where else are we going with this thing?
I mean, I'm not really sure. I think that we could probably talk about Leah Thomas all day.
No.
I know that you would love that.
No, because you know what? I've spoken so much in all my local interviews about this topic, about how there should be NIL placement for. It's a college athlete. College athletes have the ability to have the NIL sponsorships now. You know, I've talked on all the local media channels about this. That's why my voice is so hoarse.
I know. B Money is out there. B Money is Hollywood out there. He's talking to everybody.
I'm an advocate for equal rights. Equal rights.
So you're trying to tell me that you are for Leah Thomas competing?
I didn't say that. I said I'm for equal rights. And basically, in my opinion, what we saw out there in the pool was not equal rights. So I'm actually, take that for what it's worth, viewers. Have you seen this Adidas?
Like that,
by the way, have you seen this Adidas commercial?
I have, and that's why I really didn't want to give your Crocs that much love, because they were Adidas.
Yes, I know I hate that part, but what shoe company isn't all about it?
I mean, like,
Pick one.
I don't know. That
They all
commercial that I saw of Adidas used to be one of my favorite companies.
Growing
up, they used to sponsor USA Boxing, so when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, I loved Adidas.
Listen,
I loved it. But guys, I'm getting to the point now, B-Money, where
I know.
I'm trying my best to put my money where my mouth is.
I'm running out of clothing and things I could wear.
I know, but I'm as a new father to a baby girl who will be 5 months this weekend. I am not gonna buy Adidas.
Let's talk about it in this light.
That commercial was horrific.
The commercial, I'm gonna take a different, not much of a different avenue, but a little softer tone. It's ridiculous. Like I like the first parts of the commercial championing, women in different forms of competing, and you had the girl dancing in the middle of the street, and you had the girl with Down syndrome on the bus doing whatever she was doing. That's all good. I like that.
Okay with that.
Like Lululemon. You go to Lululemon and you go shop for stuff, because I buy a lot of Lululemon clothing for myself, but also my spouse. You go on there and they have a lot of.
Don't blame Amber.
They do a lot of models now that are plus size. It's a little, Anyways, Adidas. So, but then they move over to the volleyball clip, and you got this Jack Diesel dude spiking the ball on these poor girls on the other side of the. And by the way,
can't do it.
By the way, as someone, a former volleyball player himself, we do realize men play on a higher net than ladies on all age ranges.
So
this dude was getting up on that shorter net and just jamming it down the throats of the other. So my question to Adidas is this: championing women's rights and advocacy, cool. I understand that part. But is it cool to watch this one dude basically take the court and have his way and just manhandle the other side? At first I was irritated, but because the NCAA was just airing it, the more I watched it, I'm like, this is hilarious. Because folks, this is what we're gonna get to. I talked about it. Once the NBA players, the bench warmers, they transition and they become WNBA All-Stars, this is what we're getting to. Joanna Man, who saw that movie?
I did.
In the 90s? Come on.
I saw it.
Come on.
Listen, if you're for equal rights, and I still tell everybody this, we spoke about this.
Yeah.
If you're for equal rights and you're for women's sports, you're not going to be for this, because it is going to decimate and eliminate women's sports true women's sports altogether.
But I am all for a little bit of an equal ass kicking. So I did. The more I saw that commercial, I was just cracking up, because I'm like, dude, it's just like watching an adult play against children in basketball. It was hilarious.
It's not even fair. It's
not
so
fair.
Stupid.
It's not fair. But these fake Crocs are comfortable as hell. Weekend Trav.
Yeah, well, they're Adidas.
I know, but
guys, can we start a GoFundMe so we can get B-Money some better Crocs from a better company than
Weekend
Adidas?
Trav, all the companies are doing the same thing. You do understand this, right?
Not all of them. We're going to find one that's not.
Okay, good luck.
We're going to find one that's not, okay?
Good luck.
Which is also why we are on other platforms like Rumble.
Yep.
I am also on True Social.
Oh, you got that?
I got it. I did.
Okay.
I went and downloaded it.
So there's like 5 people on there.
There's like, yes. And
I also just heard
they censored a conservative guy on there too, which is the whole point of True Social is not censoring. But it's whatever. But Elon Musk also bought 9% of Twitter, and it went through the roof. Their stock did. But
that's my world.
Whatever, because I got banned on Facebook and Instagram the other day.
Hey, that person, volleyball player?
Yeah.
Chiseled in the face.
You can't let this go.
Chiseled.
I didn't look that. I was too busy doing this, looking away and just rolling my eyes and shaking my head.
Of course, I wasn't like, ooh. No, I'm just mocking the fact that this person, because you can't say man or woman, because I'm not a biologist. I can't.
We can't say that?
I can't. Well, you're not a biologist, are you?
This is true.
We can't distinguish. I mean, somebody that's about to be on the Supreme Court, they're not a biologist, so they don't know what a woman is. So me either.
The last I knew.
Thank goodness my wife just tells me she's a woman, because now I know.
I know.
So now I feel okay being in there.
But see, that's where I'm kind of torn right now, is because I have had a baby, and the baby can't tell me what he or she is yet. So I don't know what to call her.
You don't know what to call it.
So I'm just like, hey, little Isabella, I love you.
But yeah.
She hasn't given me her pronouns yet.
Yeah.
So according to the woke culture, I am supposed to ask her what she wants to be identified as.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Well, I have asked her, but she hasn't responded.
Yeah.
But I did ask her. I said...
But maybe she has, but because you haven't forced her in the box of speaking English yet.
This is true. This is very true. How could I not understand her gibberish? She is starting to have some gibberish now, and I should be understanding that.
Why don't you have...
You're right.
I'm
failing right now.
Why don't you be more open-minded?
I'm failing as a father right now. I apologize.
Well, that
Listen,
was fun.
You know it's bad when Bruce Jenner, a.k.a. Caitlyn Jenner, is coming out against this, like completely against all of these transgender women competing, or men competing against women. You know it's loony world when a transgender herself is coming out against it. No? Is that not crazy to anybody else?
He has the ability to say that because when he identified as a man and he was an Olympian, he was one of the best athletes in the world. So you take a guy that's ranked 400th and whatever in swimming that transgenders and becomes the top 500-meter swimmer, and then somehow loses a race. After that,
that's probably on purpose.
No, of course
she got fifth. No, she got fifth. She tied for fifth.
It should have been equal rights ass kicking. He should have went and dominated, or that person should have went and dominated everything.
Listen, it's so sad. Like, I think that those people deserve compassion, and I don't think that whatever choices they make in their life should be theirs. I get that. But it stops becoming your choice when you open the door to compete against other people. Sure. So, Leah Thomas, do whatever you want. Love whoever you want. Chop off whatever you want. But stop making everybody else adhere to your lifestyle. This is like beyond this. This is beyond the homosexuality, gay stuff. When the gay people are we're all against gay. I'm like, listen, I have nothing against you. Love who you want to love. This isn't about love. This is about you are a physical man, and you have developed and went through puberty as a man. Okay, this is beyond. I don't care who you love or who you have sex with or who in your head you identify as. You deserve compassion. You do. But when you're competing in a sport, it's no longer a right. It is a privilege when you compete in sports. That privilege should not allow you to beat up on girls, and you're a man.
Yep.
Sorry. I can't do it. To me, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. No. I don't disagree with you. You know what was always fun in middle school, though, weekend draft? Remember playing dodgeball in middle school?
Did you peg the girls?
Oh, why wouldn't you? They're the easiest targets out there. Why don't you do that?
I don't know if I ever did.
How about kickball? What would you do on kickball?
I mean, I'll kick it over a girl's head.
Okay.
In a heartbeat.
Okay.
I will smoke it over her head and not even think twice.
So in context, it's not as on a world stage, but when we were adolescent middle school boys, We were kind of doing the same thing.
But it's a little different though too
I
at that point
know.
because girls like age. I remember the girl being like
They were more athletic
like
than
6
us.
inches taller than me
Yeah.
too. She grew a little faster. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
and
gotta
that's why
insert
that's
my
why,
dominance
That's why
somehow.
I wanted to take them down a peg.
Exactly.
You know that and back in our day, folks, that when we played dodgeball, we didn't use them little softballs.
I feel like B Money's not drinking enough.
Well, here, I don't have any ice.
They're
We didn't use
nice.
that little plush ball. We used one of them rubber balls that use the kickball.
Yeah.
And you get hit in the face with that sucker, that does not feel good. That's like a concussion.
Well, you gotta dodge it, dude. I mean, you gotta dodge it.
Well, you know, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
Somehow we got from April 9th being a big boxing weekend all the way to if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? We've fallen off track a lot, but I like it though because I have more fun when we fall off track.
And we do that a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. You know,
You
the
know
best, to me, the best line of that movie, not to digress, go back to it. It's when he's in the chair after he did the wrench and they're talking about him drinking pee. And he said, I can't remember how he teased it up, but he's like, it's sterile and I like the taste.
Yeah, that's what he said. I do remember.
That's
It's
right.
sterile. I like the taste.
That's right.
You know what? You know who? You know what? Well, you want to go back to boxing with that? Juan Manuel Marquez, who also lives in Lake None, or at least has a house here. When he was fighting Mayweather on the 24/7 HBO series, he drank his own urine on TV. Literally drank his own urine. I'm not joking. Look it up. You guys look up the archives, HBO archives.
What?
Juan Manuel Marquez before he fought Floyd Mayweather, he drank his own pee.
What's wrong with people? Honestly, because, like, I don't like when a soda gets flat.
Brandon,
I'd be like, dump that out.
B Money, we are not biologists, so
yeah.
we cannot tell him if that was good or bad for him. Because I am not in that profession or realm to tell him what is good for his body. However, if you're the government, you can tell everybody what's good for the body.
Weekend Drive, I just want to let you know that I'm pretty sure you're a man. You're not a biologist, so I wanted to set your mind at ease.
How can you prove that? How can you prove that?
I can't, but I think maybe. Yeah, okay.
Wait, okay.
Okay.
Son of a gun!
Yeah, okay. Gosh. Okay, so we are really off the rails. Folks, it's been a little while. It's been a little while since we've been sitting down here having a good time together, drinking some bourbon, talking about this Charles Woodson bourbon, talking about boxing, talking about our beards, which we didn't really talk about today. And it's the fact that we're back on schedule. This is episode 74. We want to continue to give a shout out to our media partners, though I don't know after this conversation if you like this shout out anymore.
They might take us off.
Yeah, IF Enterprises, Gulfstream Financial, and TH Boxing, which we are on the TH Boxing facility on the second floor, the upper deck. You ever do the upper decker to somebody? You ever do
I
that?
never have, but
Me
I've
either.
always actually wanted to. Secretly, I've wanted to.
Folks, do you know what the upper decker is? That's when you're at someone's house. You might not like this person, or you just might be wanting to play a prank on them, and you go to the bathroom. And instead of defecating in the actual bowl, you defecate in such a fashion where you put it in the back area where the flapper is, and you put the lid back. And so your feces is sitting in that water in the back over time. Eventually, after a few flushes, actually just the plumbing, it just filters out. But it's just a gross thought. It's called the
very funny.
upper decker.
I feel like I wish I would have done the upper decker to who lived here before us.
Okay.
While he lived here.
Well,
I would have loved to do that. How funny would that have been?
not very. I mean,
Anyway, so
it wouldn't have been that funny. Anyways. So,
boxing's great.
it is.
The month of April is probably right now actually, you know what? Overall, with the amount of fights and the amount of top talent, it could possibly go down as the greatest month of 2022 for boxing. I'm going to put that out there right now.
Yeah.
With that schedule, if all of these work out, because you know how boxing is, I don't count on these fights happening until they walk into the ring.
Yeah.
And then even then,
sure.
there's been a boxer that walked out of a ring. But I don't count them to happen until it actually happens. So we'll see. But I think this is going to go down as one of the best months for boxing this year.
Yeah, and I think
I'm calling it right now.
And we're going to start seeing a lot of the marketing and promo work for the Fury Dillian White fight ramp up after this weekend, just because there's a lot of stuff to get through this weekend first. But you're going to see a lot of that.
They have
coming
Mikaela
up.
Mayer on ESPN Plus, who's promoted by Top Rank.
Whoa,
they don't want to take over her.
Jennifer Hahn, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Thank you.
Jennifer Hahn.
Thank you.
There's also former Olympian Ginny Futch is making her pro debut on the undercard as well. She's a girl. She's also Mikaela Mayer's best friend. So I thought I'd throw that out there.
I didn't know you became a biologist in the last 10 minutes.
Crap.
This is a tough world we live in, folks. If you're in the social graces of YouTube and
Please
the media,
forgive me for that, folks.
We gotta watch what we say. We gotta speak in. We can't even use pronouns anymore because that's too. We can't do it.
I apologize. Why do we not have pronouns in our Weighing In with Travis Harmon Instagram page?
Because what ones would you use? All of them?
I think we're he.
He, him, she, him?
I think we're he.
Shim?
I
Shim.
think we're he.
Shim.
Are we shim?
Sure.
She?
She?
Sure.
Shim, she.
He? Hi?
Hi.
Who?
Hey.
What?
Okay, so this episode is really...
okay.
I'm trying to figure out how to get us out of here.
Can you put a bow on this?
I'm trying to.
What does your shirt say? Lick 'em up?
No, what does it say? Lick 'em up? We've been talking.
Sorry. Apologize.
What are you thinking about, Leah Thomas over here? No, it says pick 'em up and put 'em down.
Oh, okay.
Lifting weights. It's like a Pittsburgh thing.
It looks like a girl.
It's like a Pittsburgh thing. I'm not from.
Like girl legs.
That's what my legs look
girl
like.
Legs.
Did I show you my legs? They look like that. I've never had good, solid man legs because I'm a runner, really. Other than this fat gut I have right now.
Pretty sure that your man legs are better than mine because I do not.
Well, you have boxer legs.
I do definitely have.
That's why boxers, folks. If you didn't know, that's why boxers wear such big shorts in order to hide. Chicken thighs.
I have my dad legs, but also boxer legs. Even if I didn't box, I would have terrible.
You know,
legs.
we failed to mention the event that we went to the other weekend, which we should have, but we did not, and we're kind of running out of time. But we want to give props at least to a friend of ours who fought on that card. There was a few guys we knew that fought and all won, thankfully. But Trav, maybe you can speak specifically to this, and that's the reason why we were there.
Yeah, good friend Adrian Pinheiro. He is now, I think, 7-0 cruiserweight. It was good performance. Got another win.
Yep.
At this point, it doesn't really matter who you're fighting. Just keep getting the wins.
Keep getting the W's.
Keep building the W's. But also, it's pretty cool because he got to do that in front of BJ Flores, who is the trainer of Jake Paul. BJ was ringside for Bally Sports commentating, so that was pretty cool. BJ got to talk to Adrian Pinheiro afterwards and gave him some tips. It was pretty cool. But I'm happy for Adrian. Adrian is right here from Orlando. I'm good friends with Adrian. We used to train together, and I'm happy for the kid when he's doing good, and he's still doing good. So I'm still rooting for him, and I hope that he keeps progressing because 7-0 is nothing to sneeze at the pro level. And then another Orlando guy is Giovanni Estresh. I don't know how to say his last name.
Right.
But he also won. I think he's 7-0 now too, 154 pounder. Those guys can fight. So.
There's another one too, but we don't know him as well. But a lot of them have trained or have worked out with Craig Duncan.
Yes.
And
he does. He actually does as well. Yep.
Yep. So and he was obviously in the he was there too, and his table was right behind our couch. So we had a good time with him that night. Overall, it was just a great show. That was 2 Saturdays ago at this point.
It was super fun. Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
March 26th.
And Adrian Drago, or whatever he calls himself now, I think.
Drago, that's from Brian Price.
Yeah.
Drago, it's Adrian Pretty Boy.
You say it's from Brian
he's
Price,
pretty.
but I let Brian Price take claim to that one.
Well, it's B Money and Brian Price.
Anyways,
all
all I know is I had to wash that polo shirt immediately following that night because I gave him a hug and he's sweaty as hell.
That's why you had to wash it.
That is. So
that makes sense.
Anyways, it's all the love. So weekend travel.
Congrats, Adrian.
Any final thoughts, or was that final enough?
My final thought is I'm going to repeat it, and I want everybody to know this, and I want it to go down in the history of the annals of boxing, that April is going to be the greatest month of 2022 boxing.
Holy, really?
Not of all time, of 2022.
For boxing, you think?
For boxing. April, the month of April, if all of these fights pan out and actually happen, it is going to be the greatest month.
Wow.
For boxing in 2022.
Okay.
I am going to stand by that firm. If every single one of these fights happen, I promise you, it will be the greatest month in 2022 of boxing.
Okay, boys, AJ Style, all you guys, you make sure you let him know this down the road too.
Give it to me. I'll respond.
Give it to him.
I ain't scared of you guys with Josh Taylor and Catterall. I don't know.
It's Catterall.
But I'm not afraid of you guys. I'll respond. Give it to me. Give it to me straight. I'll give it back to you straight.
Are we allowed to say that?
I said give it to him straight.
Okay, that's it. We gotta cut it now. This is putting the bow on it. Thanks to our subscribers. If you're not subscribing, please do so below wherever you're finding this, whether it's on Instagram, whether you're watching our content on Facebook, or you're seeing the full podcast episode on YouTube, or listening to it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the sources that you find for all your podcast needs. We are there for you. We have a lot of content. Check us out in the library. And please subscribe below to our content. Comment below as well. You don't like what we have to say? Oh, you guys, here's my pronouns, you effers, blah, blah, blah. Do it. We want to see it. And give a like or even a thumb down, but they don't even count that anymore. So, because that's in the crybaby culture we're a part of. Haha.
UK fans, it wasn't a robbery.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
It wasn't a robbery.
I'm ending this now. That over there is Weekend Trav.
That there is B Money.
AKA? Jeez. It's
producer.
Wow, we're
AKA
out of.
I was done. It was B Money. I was like, it was B Money.
Oh, my
AKA
goodness.
producer, AKA the Big Cheese, AKA the Karate Master, AKA
Karate Master,
Bruce
wow.
Lee. I don't know.
Look at this mop, too. I got this
I love
hair
his hair.
going.
I love his hair.
Anyways, thanks for joining us. God bless.